Regular viewers of the channel might be wondering why you are seeing this face on the internet twice in the same week. That is because I am starting a new mini-series in addition to my weekly full-length videos. I'm really excited to give this a shot, see how it goes. It may not always be exactly weekly, but I'm going to shoot for that as a goal. I'm calling this series 5-minute photo tips until I come up with a better name, if I ever come up with a better name. The idea is simply that I pass on some piece of knowledge about photography, filmmaking that's made my life easier, made my images or my video work better without, wasting a bunch of your time rambling on and on about what photography means to me deep down in my heart and soul. It's going to be a series of quick, practical tips designed to deliver value to you in just a couple of minutes. There's also going to be a way for you to suggest topics, so I'm going to link that all over the place. It'll be in the description. I'll probably leave it in a comment below and probably tag it on the screen somewhere. But if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about, something about my work or something that you're just curious about, feel free to drop me a line with the topic using that link. And if it's something I'm interested in talking about or feel like would be a good fit for a channel, you might even see it up here on one of these episodes. So today in this first episode, I want to talk about how you can get better coastal images, better landscapes on the coast in just like 2 seconds. Just a couple of really basic things that have helped me and that I continue to look out for when I'm shooting landscape type photography out by the ocean, by the coast, by bodies of water. Monday's video, if you haven't seen it, watch that, check it out. Featured a whole bunch of images that I'm really proud of from PCH, from our time driving down the West Coast. But the first thing I will say is that in my estimation, landscape photography as a genre pursues perfection pretty heavily. I think, at least my theory is, that because mountains and trees don't tend to move around in a scene, there's a lot more time to be meticulous about exactly how the composition works and in the editing process, layers and masks and all that kind of stuff. For me as a street photographer, I really like to just capture what my eye sees. I like to share the experience as much as humanly possible of how it felt to be somewhere. And so in my eyes, harsh blown out reflections, bright white skies aren't always a bad thing in small doses. Some of these photos were taken in pretty harsh light, and in real life the sky was bright enough to hurt my eyes. The reflection on the water was bright, and so I like that these images capture that. So the first tip that I have is just not to pursue perfection quite as much, and just don't be afraid to roll with those blown out highlights if it's tasteful, if it's controlled, and if it adds something to the photo. In losing a lot of the detail in the sky, you also end up with a more minimal composition. Sometimes a busy, cloudy sky can kind of detract from what you're seeing on the ground and in the foreground and things like that. And another thing, again, context, my perspective as a street photographer, I like including a man-made element in a lot of landscape photos, especially by the coast. I think it gives a lot of context to the images. So a road, a sign, a building, something helps anchor it in reality, makes the photo seem at the same time more and less ethereal, fantastical, however you want to put it. I like adding a man-made element in, a la James Popsis. Big inspiration on that one. The second huge tip I have for you is something that I did not take into consideration the first several times that I shot out near the water by the coast, but it's looking at the waves and timing the waves correctly. There are two photos in particular here that I'm going to show you that just wouldn't be the same without these waves being timed right. I think in this first one, seeing these layers of waves rolling in one after another really adds to the composition, and it keeps the left side of the image from feeling kind of boring or flat. And in this final image, if you didn't have this white froth from the waves kind of floating into the bay or the inlet or whatever you want to call it, I think something would feel as though it was missing from the photo. So watch out for the waves and try to time them in an aesthetically pleasing fashion. And the last tip I have for you is to actually buy something or use a specific type of gear, which is something that I very rarely say on the channel. But if you're shooting a lot of landscapes, particularly around the coast, I would strongly recommend having a wide lens, as wide as possible. I'm not saying you need a fisheye or anything, but a lot of these were taken at 16 millimeter or their APS-C equivalent, so 10, 11, 12 millimeter. If you're trying to capture the sweeping landscape and how the ocean, goes on for as far as the eye can see, it really helps to be able to fit all of those elements in the scene. So again, something that's totally optional. If you want to try and go shoot the coast with a 135 or an 85 millimeter, by all means, more power to you. That's just my 2 cents. I feel like a wide angle is pretty mandatory for most landscape-ish type photos. So that's that. This one's probably a little bit longer than these are typically gonna be, but let me know, give me some feedback. Did you enjoy this? Was it helpful for you? Do you want to see more stuff like this in the future, or am I totally off base? You can tell me that too. I promise I'll only take it like a little bit personally. If it was helpful and you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, help me out with the algorithm, maybe even stick around and check out Monday's video if you haven't seen it, and be sure to stay tuned for next Monday's video. I'm very, very excited about that one. I'm gonna be back to the POV stuff, so I'm actually gonna be walking around a coastal neighborhood here in LA with just the X100 VI. Very excited about the images that I got and very excited to share them with you guys. That's it. That's all from me. I will see you very soon in just a couple days on Monday.